Routes are one of the major cornerstones of most visual novels. After you get that love interest screen time in the common route, it's time for you to get your reward once you enter a route. Alternatively, seeing routes have a bunch of foreshadowing and build-up will make later ones stick out that much more. In this video, I'm going to list my personal top 10 favorite routes in visual novels. This list will follow 3 main criteria. 1. This is not going to have any objective basis and will be 100% my personal opinion, so that means you will likely have disagreements. Number 2, for the sake of fairness, I'm only going to have one route maximum for each visual novel series. Number 3, this video will have minimal to zero spoilers. I mean, I want to sell these visual novels potentially, I don't want to accidentally spoil something for someone. At number 10, we have Eika's route from Yume Miru Kusuri. YMK is a well-paced psychological drama visual novel. All 3 routes have some interesting dark theme. However, I thought Eika's route was easily the standout. Right from the beginning, you have to deal with her being bullied by various classmates. It's not just simply making fun of her or stealing her lunch money. The bullying can get quite physical too. The main character starts off kind of pitying her, but as you get to know her and getting a relationship with her, there are certain later scenes that make the route ending quite cathartic. This route definitely went out in a bang, and I wouldn't have it any other way. At number 9, we have Hana's route from Volkis S. This is the only untranslated route on this list. I'm always down for pure wholesome routes in visual novels, but for some reason it is surprisingly hard to find good ones. Thankfully, when I took a chance and read this moege developed by Giga, I actually liked both routes quite a bit. However, I slightly preferred Hana's route because I just liked her personality more. Hana was shy and had a very wholesome reason for coming to like the protagonist before the story started. The main theme of her route, if you can even call it that, kind of revolved around the main character and Hana wanting to figure out what to study after graduating. As this is a moege, it's mostly going to have slice of life scenes, but since this visual novel isn't too long, things actually move fairly well, having a good spaced out variety of romance scenes, scenes with them hanging out with friends, and of course, H scenes. Sometimes well-executed simplicity is all that's needed to satisfy me. At number 8, I have Mashiro's route from Making Lovers. Making Lovers is a slice-of-life comedy romance visual novel known for its over-the-top, degenerate, goofy comedy, yet wholesome romance. As many of you may know, Mashiro is my number 1 favorite visual novel heroine, so you might be surprised that her route isn't even in the top 5. As much as I love Making Lovers, all 5 routes follow the exact same formula, down to having the exact same amount of chapters. You get together with a girl early on, go on some dates, crack some jokes, get some H scenes, then end the route with some mild character development. I mostly have Mashiro's route on this list purely because I like Mashiro that much. She's easily the funniest character of the main 5 heroines, and that contributes to her route being consistently the funniest. I mean, it says something when many people know her for a certain wall CG, but she's not without wholesome slice of life romance as you may have been seeing on the screen. This route is the perfect example of having best girl bias carry the experience, especially since she's adult age. At number 7, I have Heaven's Feel from Fate's Stay Night. Fate's Stay Night was developed by the very popular Type Moon and is a battle royale action magic visual novel. This one's kind of a nostalgic choice, as Fate's Stay Night was the very first non-gameplay visual novel I've ever read. All 3 routes are pretty good, bringing something interesting to the table, whether it's the cool action, the battle strategies, good drama, or the surprisingly deep character development. However, I thought Heaven's Feel was easily my favorite for a few reasons. 1, this was the route that really challenged Shiro's hero complex personality the most. 2, Sakura was easily my favorite girl. I even enjoyed all the cooking slice of life scenes they had, and I just thought her chemistry with Shiro romantically felt the most natural. 3, I like the cast of characters they kept alive for this route most all around. Without getting too much detail or spoilers, it had the most Rider and had the least Gilgamesh. While this route technically isn't the true route, it is unlocked last and certainly felt like it was written to be the true route with how things were executed. At number 6, I have Miharu's route from A Sky Full of Stars, Fine Days. Fine Days is a fan disc to The Sky Full of Stars visual novel, which is a wholesome slice-of-life romance story focused on astronomy. This is quite easily overall my favorite fan disc route. It's already rare to find a teacher route that's even half decent in any visual novel, and to have one that's just flat out amazing is quite the treat. The Sky Full of Stars series is generally a wholesome story with very likable characters. However, Miharu was the one recurring character that I didn't really like that much in the original. Not only did this fan disc route redeem her by a lot, but it revealed some really interesting reasons on why she's as lazy as she's become. Naturally, this route is all about her overcoming that stuff, and the route arguably has the best ending in the whole series. If you want a good example of how to make a fan disc route and or a teacher route, be sure to take cues from Miharu's Fine Days route. At number 5, I have Sora's route from Baldr Sky Dive 2. Baldr Sky is one of the most popular gameplay-heavy visual novels with a really interesting post-apocalyptic mecha war setting and surprisingly fun robot action gameplay that feels similar to a fighting game. Baldr Sky is technically a linear visual novel with enforced route order, but ultimately the story is still set up in routes. This is one of those cases where the build-up from the other routes help lead to this route sticking out quite a lot. But even if we were to not take that into account, for just only looking at the scenes unique to this route, it has some of the craziest reveals in the whole series, in addition to some of the most fun and over-the-top gameplay and bosses. While the romance between Ko and Sora didn't exactly get off to a strong start at the beginning of the story, I thought the way the romance was resolved in this route was incredibly rewarding after everything that happened. I couldn't have asked anything more from a true route of a very ambitious story. At number 4, I have Hotaru's route from Amatsutsumi. Amatsutsumi is one of my favorite romance drama visual novels. It has a ladder route structure and makes every character have interesting depth and development. Hotaru wasn't quite my favorite character, but I can't deny that her route easily sticks out the most, and it's the true route for a reason. This route has the best psychological moments in a visual novel story with pretty good psychological themes all around. Since the beginning of the story, Hotaru had a lot of foreshadowing and mystery about who she truly was, despite just seeming like a Genki girl on the surface. Learning about who Hotaru really was had some of the most fascinating character reveals and interactions I'd seen in a visual novel in a long time. Even though I wasn't super sold on the romance itself, all the plot twists and surprisingly deep and well done character interactions and development really made this visual novel end on a great note. Once again, a well-executed true route of an ambitious visual novel. At number 3, I have Amane's route from If My Heart Had Wings, or Konosora. This is a very wholesome visual novel about the characters wanting to make a glider to soar into the sky, and was one of the first Japanese original visual novels to get on Steam. If My Heart Had Wings is in my top 3 favorite visual novels ever, so choosing my favorite route is almost like choosing between a favorite child. Almost every route follows a similar formula, ending with a glider ride to the morning glory. Kotori's route stuck out with its main heroine route wholesome vibes, while Yoru's route had the surprisingly amusing romantic plot twist. However, I picked Amane's route because it was the most plot and backstory relevant of the routes, also having the great wholesome glider themes. Seeing the characters who were fundamental to getting the Soaring Club to even exist was a nice treat, and this is the only route where Tobioka isn't just a one-note villain. When considering recommended route orders, I actually think Amane's route is best saved last now. The only slight downside to this route is I thought the romance with Amane was actually the weakest of the main 5, but it was still fine. While this technically isn't the true route, it may as well be for how greatly executed just about everything was. At number 2, I have Coco's route from Ever 17. Ever 17 is the second entry of the Infinity series, a very popular visual novel in the sci-fi mystery thriller fandom. Ever 17 was my very first foray into the sci-fi mystery thriller genre, and it definitely made its mark with a mix of mystery and intrigue, as well as emotional, hard-hitting plot twists. The fact that this route is called Coco route is very misleading. After reading the first 4 routes, which I liked all by the way, there were still plenty of questions that had yet to be answered. Coco's route makes it a point to basically answer every single question that had been up in the air at this point. Literally everything gets answered, and some of the plot twists are super crazy and mind-blowing. This route also does not let up on the emotional moments, with some really heartwarming and heartbreaking moments that help make this route stand out even more. The only reason this isn't number 1 is because I thought the final plot twist was just a little bit too convenient in terms of creating something that made the ending the way that it was. Otherwise, this is the perfect true route in terms of creating the perfect climax for both the mystery and drama genres. At number 1, I have the Agave route from the original Majikoi Love Me Seriously. Majikoi is Minato-soft's premier visual novel series, most known for being a very goofy comedy series with a lot of routes, but surprisingly wholesome friendship themes. Similar to If My Heart Had Wings, choosing a favorite route is like choosing a favorite child. It's even worse in Majikoi's case because it's my number 1 favorite visual novel by far. I could have gone with Momoyo's route for the super fun Kawakami War, I could have gone with Miyako's route for actual well done childhood friend melodrama, or even Wanko's route for the surprising feels that still fit her character. At the end of the day though, Agave was basically the true route for the original Majikoi before all the fan discs decided to come out. You'd be surprised at all the build-up this route had for what was, for the most part, a slice-of-life comedy action visual novel. This is easily the most serious route in the whole series, yet somehow still kept the over-the-top goofy vibes that the series had and telling a compelling story. The ending was very cathartic, and ultimately, this was basically a Kazuma family route. The Kazuma family is ultimately one of the biggest reasons why Majikoi is my favorite visual novel, because of the goofy yet natural friendship interactions between the main 9 characters. Even if you were to stop reading Majikoi after the original, ending on this route is perfect for the themes this visual novel was trying to go for. And there you have it, my personal top 10 favorite routes in visual novels. What were your thoughts on the routes that I chose? And what were some of your favorite routes in visual novels? Feel free to leave a comment below.